one and all. It's the Friday Waffle once again. It feels like it's been ages, absolute ages, since I was last sat here doing the Friday Waffle. I mean, this was always my place to do it. I think I did a live waffle last week, and then I think the week before I did it in my kitchen, something like that. So yeah, it's Friday evening. Glad it's the weekend. Just to kind of put in the picture with my job front, I know it doesn't really concern you guys at all, but I always talk about my job. I moved across to a new company 3 weeks ago, and I'm still waiting on my sort of IT equipment. I'm hopefully getting that on Monday. So I've not really been able to get my teeth into my job properly. It's been very, very limited. You know, trying to do a job without a computer. I've got an iPhone 7 which I've been using. So trying to do a job without a PC, which primarily is 99% of my work, emails and that kind of stuff. So yeah, it's been a wee bit frustrating, but I hopefully get my computer next week and get kind of back into things proper. So what have I been doing this week? What have I been doing? I was at the computer club on Tuesday. One really nice machine. In fact, what I'll do is, because this waffle is going to be quite not very long, because I've only got 2 questions actually, which I'm going to talk about shortly. I'm going to stick a wee bonus bit of footage, which was the computer club at the end of the waffle, so you can watch that if you want. Yeah, I was at the computer club, and I took along my PC Engine Duo, which my big mate Chris, Gadget UK, very, very kindly repaired for me. I don't know if you've watched these videos, but you know, he's done a cracking job. So I got the PC Engine Duo back from Chris about a month ago, maybe slightly more than that, and it played perfect, as good as new. I took it to the computer club last month. Now, if I've already mentioned this, tell me, or don't watch, just fast forward it. I took it to the computer club last month, and I plugged it in, and it loaded like the title screen of a game. Then it went blank, the screen went blank, and it refused to load any other disc, any other game at all. So I brought it back, plugged it in, and lo and behold, it worked. So I'm like, why would it do that? Why on earth would it work in the house, not work in this computer club, and then work again? So I mentioned it to Chris, and he said something that could be like a dirty power supply, which doesn't mean a lot to me, but I guess that's where the supply itself isn't sort of like constant, something like that. I didn't do physics or electronics, so you know, things like electricity goes completely over my head. So I just put it down to bad luck. I thought, you know, at least it's working again. So I've been playing it quite a bit, and then it was a computer club on Tuesday, and I thought, right, I'm going to take along the PC Engine Duo this time and play it. Took it along, plugged it in, the title screen of the first game loaded, and it went back to a black screen. I couldn't believe it. Like, this isn't happening. How can that be possible? How can something work perfect and then not work and then work again, and then you take it back to the same place and it stops working? So what we did was, one of the guys says, well, yeah, what we'll do is we'll try a different power adapter. So we plugged the PC Engine into a different power adapter, and it still did the same thing. It still wouldn't work. It just simply refused to load. The funny thing is, it would switch on, but when you try and press the run button to load a game, it just wouldn't run. It would just keep looking for the disc, which made no sense at all. So then we decided to try and plug it directly into the mains. This club that we go to is it's a kind of old, well, I'm saying it's an old church hall. It is a church, and it's got this little kind of room at the back. So I don't know what the electricity is like in this place. I mean, it's the centre of Edinburgh. I'm assuming it's tested and, you know, safe. So we plugged the PC Engine Duo into a completely separate power. Tried it, wouldn't work. So we plugged it into a different TV, and it worked. But like, what? plugged it back into the TV that I was using, which is an old CRT TV, and it didn't work. So basically, we did a few more trial and error. Basically, we didn't navigate, we managed to establish that if my CRTV was plugged into the wall and switched on, the game would not load. If it was unplugged, the game would load fine. So obviously, this TV must somehow be interfering with the power supply to the whole room. I mean, there's loads of the guys take along different computers and systems. I mean, we've been going for like 4 or 5 years, and we've never ever had that happen ever. But it just seems that the PC Engine Duo, or at least my particular one, is just susceptible to any fluctuations in like voltage or current, whatever it is. It completely goes over the top of my head. I mean, one of the guys there, Mike, he's got his own computer repair shop. He's very clued up with like electricity and that kind of stuff, and he says he's never ever seen that in his life. So yeah, what the advice to me was get rid of that CRT TV. Got to say, I actually found the CRT TV outside many years ago, maybe 5 years ago. It was lying outside waiting to get tossed out. Somebody had it on top of their bin, and I thought, oh, that'll do me. And I've been using it for years. It works fine with everything else. Never had any problems with it until this thing. But you know what? I've decided, rather than keep it and use it for something else, the fact that it somehow interferes with this thing, I'm just going to toss it. So it's currently in my shed, and it's going to get taken up to the skip. But I've never ever come across anything like that before. It didn't make any sense why something would work, then not work, then work, then not work, and then it would work in a different TV, you know. But like I said, through process of elimination, we narrowed it down that if that TV was plugged into the wall, any socket in that room, when the PC Engine Duo was on, the PC Engine Duo would come on, but it wouldn't load games. And I've since brought the PC Engine Duo back home, and it's working fine. So it's a bizarre one. Completely, like I says, I just couldn't understand it one little bit. And another thing at the computer club, which I was really happy to see, one of the guys, he's got, what's it called, an FM Towns Marty, I think it's called. It was a computer which I think had a built-in CD-ROM. I think it's kind of, now don't quote me on this, I think it's similar spec to the Sharp X68000, which you're probably thinking, well, we don't know what spec that is, which is basically more powerful than an Amiga. It's more powerful than a Commodore Amiga. This FM Towns Marty, it's a strange name, sounds more like an 80s synth pop band, something like that. Really nice. Some of the games are awesome. Just think of a super powered Amiga. You know, graphics, sound, colour, really nice. They're really rare to get, and this guy Brian, he was fortunate enough to buy this thing. I think if he ever decided to sell it, I might have to have a quiet word with him, though. It depends how much he's looking for it. I mean, I was looking on eBay the other day there. I mean, I'm not looking to sell anything, but just at prices in general. And, you know, prices for games, any kind of classic system, any old system, prices are just insane. They really are. I mean, I know just because somebody's asking £500 for something doesn't mean it's worth that. Something is only worth what somebody is prepared to pay for it. But, you know, stuff like the Vectrex, the Sword M5 that I've got, Jaguar, all these, they're all going for, I'm not going to say silly money, but they're going for way more than I paid. And I certainly wouldn't pay what some people are asking for, but that's only got to be a good thing. Like myself, you know, I've got quite a decent collection of hardware. If I was ever to sell them off, then at least you know you're going to get your money back. You know, there's very few bits of hardware that you're going to buy that's going to depreciate. You know, I think it's always going to go up in price. So that was the Computer Club. What else have I got? Yeah, that was the Computer Club. Sam's Journey on the C64. Now, if you're not aware of that game, it's a game that was fairly recently released to the scene, and it's been getting amazing reviews. I mean, people are saying it is the best, the finest Commodore 64 game ever released. I've watched a couple of videos and it does look impressive. I mean, it looks like, I've not played it and I've not watched any in-depth videos, but I would say it looks like a really nice NES game. Colours, graphics, it looks like a console game. I mean, it really does look like a cracking game. And I was aware of it when it was getting, you know, kind of previewed. And I thought, yeah, I'm going to buy that, I'm going to buy that. Now, I'm not a big fan of, if I can get a digital download of it, that suits me. I'm not interested in buying a tape, you know, I don't want to go down that road. I'm quite happy to load games. I like to have games to play. I'm not really interested having a cassette sitting on a shelf or a disc or a cartridge, anything like that. Excuse me. The problem I've got is I talk too quick and I forget to breathe, and it gives me hiccups. Yeah, this Sam's Journey. So it was released, and the price that they're wanting now, I don't know if that's changed. If it has changed, let me know. The price they're charging for a digital download is £20. Obviously more if you want a cassette, you know, disc, cartridge. And I've got to say the things that they're giving away with, you know, the cartridges and the sort of physical copies is really nice. They've got these kind of little game playing cards, and the box looks amazing, and instructions. It looks really, really nice. If you're wondering what that noise is, I've got two smelly dogs lying beside me, and Jax has got a bad habit of snoring. Can you hear him? The minute I stop talking, he stops snoring. So yeah, I totally get why people, there he goes, we're going to hear him snoring. He's obviously not sleeping properly. He doesn't like being on camera. Yeah, I totally get that people want to, you know, have cartridges and discs and all that, and, you know, I don't know what the prices for these are, but the thing for me personally is £20 for a digital download. The £20 is quite a bit of money. When you think of, you've got to compare it. To really have any comparison, you've got to be able to compare it with like for like, you know, similar price things. Now you can get, I know you can get second hand, you can get a second hand PlayStation 4 game for that. There are loads and loads of indie games on the PlayStation 4 and whatnot that aren't £20, you know, they're less than that. There are loads and loads of amazing games getting, you know, released on the various 8-bit platforms, Spectrum, Amstrad, C64. A lot of them are free, and some of them you've got to charge for. But £20, now I know you can argue and say, oh, but you need to remember inflation, etc, etc. But £20 is the most amount of money that anybody could charge for a Commodore 64 game. You know, forgetting inflation and whatnot, but back in the 80s, an expensive game, the average game in the C64 would be eventually about $9.99. So to charge double that for a digital download, and it's just that, you're not getting anything else. You're not getting a box, you're not getting a poster, stickers, playing cards, anything. It's just a digital download. 20 quid. I'm sorry, but they can just do one. Seriously. Now, I do expect I might get a few thumbs down for this video for that comment, but I really think they're taking the piss. You know what, at the end of the day, it's their game. They can charge what the hell they want. And I'm quite sure, going by what I'm reading, it must be selling well. They're probably making plenty of money, and good luck to them, you know. That's up to them, how much they want to charge. But I do know quite a few people, including guys that watch this channel, agree that £20 for a digital game on a Commodore 64 is way, way too much. What do you think? Do you think I'm being a mean Scotsman? Am I being completely, you know, unrealistic, or, you know, moaning for the sake of it, thinking that £20 is too much? I personally think £20 for a digital download. I mean, even, yeah, you know, I look at PlayStation VR games, you know, and it'll be like $15.99 and whatever, and I'm like, do I really need it? Can I afford it? Nah. But look at what you're getting. Look at what you're getting on the PlayStation 4, and compare that to this thing. Yeah, I've no doubt they've put hours and hours and hours, you know, of work into this game. But 20 quid for a digital copy of a Commodore 64 game, I think is too much. At the end of the day, it's their game. They can sell whatever they want. Nobody's making me buy it. But I think if they reduce the price, they would certainly sell more. So, yeah, that's... oh, in fact, just before... Oh, another little swig of my tea. Before I get into questions, live stream. I did do a live stream last week, which was going to be... How did it work again? Yeah, I was going to do a Friday Waffle. In fact, no, what happened? You know what? I think I mentioned this. I was tired and I wasn't in the mood to do a Friday Waffle. I think by the time... I can't remember what happened. By the time I had my dinner and sat down, it was getting late, and it was like, I'm going to have to do... The Friday Waffle was going to have to get done really late at night. And I wasn't in the mood for it. And you've got to be in the mood to do these kind of talky type videos. You can't, if you're not in the mood for it, don't do them. So I did a live stream. Now the live stream is always fun. I mean, we played some real shit games, including, is it Mini Racers, which is basically the number 1 to 10 racing on like horses. We played Peter O'Sullivan's horse racing. Really good fun. I really enjoy these. But it's kind of got me thinking that sometimes too much isn't always a good thing. Now I'm aware that in the last, I don't know, I shouldn't even try and put a timeline on it. I would say in the last maybe 2-3 months, maybe slightly more than that, I've been doing a lot more live streams. I mean, I even did one playing Berserk the other day there, just because it's easy, it's nice and easy to do. And as much as I enjoy live streams, I think I need to kind of pull back a wee bit on them. Not because I don't enjoy them, but I think people watching, I think people eventually start getting fed up. So if you make them not as regular, then chances are more people are going to enjoy them. And I think, I mean, I think and I hope that the people that watch my live streams do enjoy them. I mean, there's not as many tune in that I would probably like. You know, I mean, the first couple of live streams I did, I had up to like 40 people watching. The last few, it's been maybe 20. And I do tend to think that I'm maybe overdoing the live streams a wee bit. I don't know what you guys watch my channel. I mean, I make this content because I enjoy it, but ultimately you guys like watching it. Should I continue doing live streams as often? I'm aware that a lot of the time I'll say to you, right, I'm going to do one at this time on a certain day, and then I'm not able to fulfill it, and that's just because real life kicks in. You know, things change. As I've mentioned before, I've got my wife and my daughter share this house with me, and yeah, if they're upstairs and I'm downstairs doing a live stream, it makes it very difficult. In fact, it makes it impossible for them to come downstairs to use the kitchen. So that's why I'm always conscious about that, and I don't like... I should never stop my other members of the family using the house. That should never happen. But I just think sometimes I need to get back to basics a wee bit. I need to get back to doing what I normally do. Don't get me wrong, I've still got loads of videos that I've recorded, and I'm going to keep doing that I'm going to be putting out. But I think I'm going to cut back a wee bit with the live streams. I think it should always be, I'm not going to use the word treat, but I think it should always be an exception rather than the rule. I don't want to go down the road of making a live stream every week, because I think people just get fed up. And the whole point of them being live is that people tune in, and if people get bored, they're not going to watch them. and I'm going to look like a bit of a dick, basically, especially if you're doing like a live waffle type thing. So I'm just, let me know what you think. Should I continue with them? I'm not going to not do them because they're great fun, but I think maybe one a month is more than plenty. I mean, I had this channel for what, 4 years before I ever did a live thing. Yeah, and following on for that, the Friday Waffle. As I've mentioned loads of times before, you know, for me to be able to continue with the Friday Waffle, I need to have content. I need to have stuff to talk about. You know, and as much as I appreciate you guys, you know, you help me out, you'll give me questions. Getting asked, I don't know, what's your favourite Spectrum game? It's just a one-word answer. It's not really giving me any substance or subject matter to kind of talk about. And with that in mind, I'm only thinking at the moment. I'm not decided for sure. I'm thinking about either give the Friday Waffle a summer break, you know, park it for maybe a couple of months. I don't know. That can all change, obviously. Or maybe go down to like one a fortnight or one a month. Maybe one a fortnight to begin with. I don't know. Let me know what you think. I know the Friday Waffle is my staple thing. It's a thing that I do. It's a thing that people know me for. Anytime I hear people talking about my channel, it's always he does the Friday Waffle. That and Arcade Perfect My Arse. They seem to be the two things that I'm known for. Even though I do a lot of other things, they seem to be the two kind of main features that people know me for. But yeah, I don't want to. I'm trying to think. I sound like I sound a bit like a musician. If people are still wanting to see me, if people still want to see me do something, then that's fine. As long as I'm enjoying it, then I'll continue to do it. But when something starts to become a bit of a grind, and you know, you don't have subject matter to talk about, and you're just doing it for the sake of doing it, then I think you absolutely need to think about it and think, should I continue with this, or should I knock it in the head, or give it a rest? I don't know. What do you think? I know you guys, I'm quite sure you guys are going to say, no, keep doing it every week. And I will take your comments on board. Ultimately, it's my decision. I do like doing the Friday Waffle, but I mean, for example, this week I've only got 2 questions. So, and I'm not blaming you guys, but if I don't get any subjects or stuff to talk about, then it does get a bit difficult. So let me know what you think. I might either give it a rest for a few weeks, wait for my mojo to come back, maybe get some, give me a few weeks for like stuff in the news to kind of, to give me stuff to talk about. I don't know. Let me know what you think. I'll have a think about it as well, and I'll decide. Right, okay. I've only got, like I said, I've only got 2 sets of questions, and the first one is the ever reliable Mr. Down the Rabbit Hole, Kev. Thank you, Kev. I noticed an odd pattern on one specific intellectual property which used to flood Nintendo but doesn't anymore. Any idea why there were so many Warner Brother Bugs Bunny games on the original Game Boy? I don't know. I know. I've got no idea. I know what you mean, Kev. I can only think that, well, obviously Nintendo must have got the license from Warner Brothers to make X number of games. Now, you need to think about this. The Game Boy, it was probably one of the first kind of gaming platforms that transcended age, you know, or people who were gamers. You know, there was people like, well, I can give you an example. My ex, she loved the Game Boy. She used to play, what did she play? She played Tetris. She was actually really good at Tetris. She used to get is it the big rocket, which I've never got to. Is that when you get 100 lines? Something like that, I think it is. She used to be really good at the Game Boy. She used to be really good at Tetris. She used to also like, what was it called? Shanghai. Now, that was the only gaming system that she ever played. She wasn't interested in the Commodore 64, the Amiga, Mega Drive. Wasn't interested at all. She's not a gamer, but she liked the Game Boy. And latterly we've had the Wii. The Wii was kind of similar. People like your granny, people's grannies and aunties and uncles and neighbours and everybody had the Wii. People who were not gamers had the Wii. And I think that was the same with the Game Boy. And for that matter, you know, companies quite rightly put out as many games as possible, games that they think would appeal to various people. I mean, look at the Wii. It was probably the one system that had the most kind of, is it the shovelware they call it, basically shit games, anything at all. I mean, you look at some of the games, the file size of some of these Wii games were tiny. I remember buying, was it chess for the Wii, and I shit you not, it was something like 2 meg. That was just like how much code was on this disc. I'm like, what? That was on a DVD, just crazy. But anyway, I digress. I think it was probably just because the Game Boy appealed to everybody. You know, I'm quite sure there was people who were not gamers who bought a Game Boy, and because of that, they thought, right, we'll get a license with Warner Brothers. And yeah, you're right, there was loads of games like that. Fortunately, we don't seem to see these quite so much. I mean, even the Game Boy Advance, you got some real shitty games like licensed titles, Barbie this, Barbie that, you name it. You know, some really god awful games. But I think that was probably the reason, Kev. It's probably because the Game Boy sold so many, and they must have got a license to make X number of games. And I can only imagine. I'm not an expert, by the way. That's just my own personal take on it. Secondly, if all the handhelds you have ever put your hands on, which one would you say has the best D-pad? Oh, what do you call them? The 2 Android devices that I own, 2, is it 2? I think it is. I've got the Nvidia Shield portable. I mean, I've got the Shield as well, and I've also got the GPD-XD. The gamepads on them aren't the greatest. I'm trying to think. I mean, the gamepad, obviously the original Game Boy and the Game Boy Advance, it only had the gamepad. I find it perfectly usable. You know, it's like the old NES controller. That's all it had. The SNES was just a little D-pad, and yeah, I've got to say that the gamepad on the the original Game Boys, the Game Boy Advance, I've got to say, even I've been playing the 3DS quite a bit. The gamepad in that is pretty good. I mean, I think Nintendo basically invented the gamepad. If you look at the NES or the SNES, virtually every gamepad that's ever existed since is based on the layout of the SNES. 4 buttons, 4 coloured buttons, gamepad, select, start, left and right shoulder. You know, so it's kind of been adopted as basically the template for any gamepad. So I would say Nintendo generally, their gamepads are good. There's a gamepad on the PS Vita, I think, and it's alright. I generally use a little analog nub, but I'm going to say the original Game Boy or the Game Boy Advance. It's absolutely fine. There's none. I'm not a big fan of D-pads. I know, like people who like Street Fighter 2 and that kind of stuff, a D-pad's not the best. But then saying that, people played it perfectly fine on the SNES. But nah, I would probably say the Game Boy Advance. I'll go for that one, Kev. Thirdly, I have a game on my phone I always play on my commute because it is loud and drowns out a chatty crowd in the train. But if I ever play that same game at home, I feel like I should be going to work. Do you have any games, it doesn't have to be a phone game, could be on a computer or console like that, which trigger you in a feeling of that game only being played in a specific place or time of day? I know what you mean, Kev. I'm just trying to think. Particular game, I've got to say, considering I'm a gamer, I don't really. I mean, I've always, for the last, what would it be, maybe 8 years, I've been home based. I work from home, so I don't commute. I've never commuted. I mean, if I have driven, sorry, if I have gone into like a town for work, I always take the car. I've never really been in a train or a bus going to work, so I don't have that kind of window of opportunity to play games. So what I'm basically saying is, I generally don't play games outside the house. I mean, there are games, I'm just trying to think. There's loads of games that I've got, if I play it, you know, it takes me back to a particular place, a particular time. But then I think most people have got that. But I can't, like I said, because I don't drive. I mean, sorry, if I am going to work, if I was working in Glasgow or Edinburgh, I drive. I don't take the train, so I don't have that opportunity to play a game when I'm out and about. As much as I'm not embarrassed to be a gamer, I would never really think of taking a Game Boy. Even if I'm going on holiday, I generally wouldn't take a Game Boy. I wouldn't think of playing it on a train. I don't know why. I think it's just me. I'm not embarrassed about it, but it's just something that I've not really done. But yeah, like I said, there's plenty of games, Kev, that I play, but I can't say it takes me back to a specific time or place. Nah, like I say, there's loads of games take me back to they maybe do take me back to a particular age and that kind of stuff. But yeah, another great question, Kevin. I've not given a particularly good answer, I have to say. And lastly, if a game is set in the real world location, it tends to thrill gamers who actually live there, but not for those of us who don't live there. Do you think it diminishes the fun? Absolutely. There's one game, as you know, most driving games, or you know, games like, I don't think, is Grand Theft Auto set. Well, it's set in Vice City. It's not set in a real place. Driving games are generally the game that will feature real life locations. Generally, they're in the States, you know. Oh, Archie, stop banging that camera. Go and lie down. But there's one game that came out for the Xbox called Project Gotham 2, and it featured a track. I'll see if I can put a wee link up above. It might not be my footage, and if it's not my footage, I will put a link down below to the video. Though I think I did make a video of it, so yeah, hopefully it's my footage you can see up there. I do have a bad habit of saying in videos, or in waffles in particular, that I'm going to put a link or I'm going to put a clip up there, and I forget to do it, so apologies about that. But yeah, Project Gotham 2, it featured Edinburgh. It featured Princes Street in Edinburgh. You go along Princes Street, you go up the Mound, and then up Colburn Street, and then you come down along through the High Street and down Castle Terrace, around onto Lothian Road and back along. And I remember just having, it blew my mind. I know I say that phrase all the time. It blew my mind getting to see a place that I went to a lot. I mean, I wasn't born in Edinburgh, but I used to go to Edinburgh all the time. And yeah, getting to drive along a street. I mean, it came out, I'm sure it had like adverts for McDonald's and Virgin Megastore and that. And it was really super impressive. And I would absolutely love if somebody would bring out a game and it was featured in, you know, where I stay. Chances of it happening are probably nil. I dare say there will, probably in 10 years' time, there will be some kind of technology where they can sort of easily import like data from Google Street View and encompass it into a kind of racing game. You know, I'm sure that will exist eventually, so that you could actually go online and you can buy whatever it will be, I don't know, Gran Turismo 15, and you put in the postcode that you want, and you get a racetrack based on where you stay. I'm sure that's something that's going to definitely happen. But yeah, I don't think it diminishes the fun if you don't know the area, but I think it heightens the fun if you do know the area. Yeah, does that make sense? So technically, I suppose, if it's not an area you know, then it does diminish the fun. But you know what I mean? Yeah, I mean, 99% of games that you and I play, it's not an area that we're familiar with. But I mean, my big mate Dean, Return to Gaming, he's right into his driving games, and quite a few times I hear him talk about, you know, how realistic this particular driving game is, because it's this particular freeway or whatever it is, and he's able to talk about it. So it must be pretty good to be able to play racing games where you're actually racing around areas that you actually know in real life. So anyway, Kev, thanks very much again, mate. You're always super reliable at asking these questions, and I do appreciate you taking time to ask them. And lastly, this is the only other question I've got, is from Panther UK. Monty on the Run or Auf Wiedersehen Monty? Both bastard hard, both had great music, and both looked gorgeous. Which one was better and why? Now, I've got to say, Chris, I have never played Auf Wiedersehen Monty. I do know the tune. It's a really, really nice tune, but I've never played the game, never ever played it. I wasn't a massive fan of Monty on the Run, the game, but the music, the musical track to that game in the C64 is probably the best bit of computer music I've ever heard. I do play it now and again, not a lot, but I can't compare it because I've simply never played Auf Wiedersehen Monty. Is it worth playing? I'll maybe need to do a little look at it, all Monty Mole games, something like that. So I'm not able to answer the question properly, Chris. I've never played Monty on the Run. I've never played the second one. I've played Monty on the Run, but not Auf Wiedersehen Monty. But let me know if it's worth playing. You're obviously saying that they're both good. So anyway, Chris, thank you very much. So listen, guys, that is it. I've only got the 2 questions this week. Let me know what you think about the Friday Waffle. I'm sure you guys will probably say, no, you know, you do what you have to do. And at the end of the day, it's got to really be me that makes that decision, because I'm the one that's got to put the content out. And if I'm not feeling it, or don't have any topics to talk about, then it's ultimately going to result in a really, really dead boring video. So I'll give it a thought over the next week. You know, a lot is going to depend on the job and that kind of stuff, because, you know, when you're tired sometimes at night time for a bad day at work or a hard day at work, and you're not feeling it, and that's what I was like last week, and I'm like, nah, I don't want to do a Friday Waffle. I've got nothing to talk about, and it's just going to come across in the video. So let me know your comments, guys. Let me know if you think that Sam's Journey digital download on the C64 is a rip-off at £20, or am I being completely off the mark? Am I just being a tight-fisted Scottish person? As always, guys, thanks very much for continuing to support the channel. Thank you to all the new subscribers, and to all you old guys that are sticking with me. Have an excellent weekend, guys, and as always, thank you very much for watching.